To Be Wise Africa Movement. I'm Loretta Simpson, and today we're going to continue the conversation about stop hiding. We should unite for power as well as progress. So why are returnees so silent about the challenges they face in Africa, in any country? What truths are being hidden? How can we reshape a better future for ourselves and our communities? So in this video, we're going to explore the reasons behind the silence. We're going to reveal some strategies to become better managers of our outcomes. Then we'll explore the reasons as well as discuss how we can unite for collective responsibility to reclaim power and progress. So join the conversation as we unpack the dynamics of displacement, power, and unity. We are here to explore the truths about African returnees. That's our main purpose. We want to know, what does it take to migrate to Africa, and how do we live and make these adjustments? So the challenges many face and the strategies that is required, we need to create a united and powerful community in order to sustain ourselves in any environment. So today we're going to discuss and have a crucial conversation about this silence. Why are we hiding? And most importantly, how can we as a people harness our collective strength for a brighter future? Let's make this real simple. Let's start with a simple reality check. Many returnees travel to Africa with ambitions, with dreams of a fresh start, a reconnection with their roots, and a vision of contributing to their homeland, right? If you're there, you've had that same thought and ideas. I had the same process. We are no different, really. But often, we face unexpected challenges, bureaucratic red tape, cultural misunderstandings, and even rejection. So why the silence? Why don't more people speak openly about these struggles? I have yet to figure out why we can't be transparent and have real conversations as adults. And so I worry that we are adults, old people, in young people's skin, and our mindset is still undeveloped. So even though we've aged, we still don't have the maturity that's required to make intelligent decisions. First, there is the fear of failure. So the first challenge is the fear of failure. And fear is crippling. If anybody has ever walked through some fearful situations, you should know how crippling fear can be to an individual. So publicly sharing your struggles might make you feel like you've let your community down. And so you may also feel like the people back home will look down on you for you having these grandiose ideas about your repatriation or your returning home. No one wants to admit that the dream they had did not go as planned, and things happen. And sometimes we have dreams and it didn't quite go the way we anticipated. But it doesn't mean that it can't happen. Perhaps it just means that we need to approach it in a different way. So it's not now, the dream is not happening, but maybe later. So timing is everything. And then the second challenge is this fight for our acceptance. Many returnees face skepticism from locals who question their intentions or their loyalties. This creates a divide that can be tough to navigate. So it's like, in my opinion, I'm going to give this analogy. You prepared yourself and readied yourself for a major event, and you were invited to a banquet. Now, when you get to the banquet, the feast is prepared and laid out before you. But you soon realize that even though you were invited to the banquet, you don't have a seat at the table to join the feast. So that is what sometimes we're in there, but we're not quite in there. You've been invited. You've been invited to the feast, but you still don't have a seat at the table. So there's this challenge with being accepted. But here's the thing about that. The silence doesn't serve us at all. It isolates us. It keeps us from learning, growing, and achieving our collective potential. So even though you're at this banquet, you're dressed to the nines and you're looking good, but then here comes this fear. Here comes this emotion that you're not good enough, even in the midst of an event. So this is what creates the challenge. And if we're serious about creating change, we need to break the silence of not speaking, of making people feel isolated, and we must unite. So how do we do that is the question. How can we manage our outcomes and secure our future? Here's a solution. Whoever controls the purse controls the power. So it has to make sense. The first step is financial empowerment. Whoever holds the purse holds the power. We need to establish a support for African-owned businesses, and then invest within our communities and build systems of financial independence that don't rely on external forces. A good example of that is President Ibrahim Traore and what he's been able to do in the span of 2 years for Burkina Faso, and the wealth that he's generated and the debt that he's paid off for that country is not amazing. It is because he looked at the opportunities to build a financial system where Burkina Faso holds the power. And so that's very critical. And solution number 2 would be to embrace our collective responsibility. So in African philosophy, this is called Ubuntu. I am because we are. It is time to work together, pool our resources, and then uplift each other instead of being in competition and being negative. Now, what's for you is for you. And you will soon find out energy is everything. You will know right away if a thing or a situation is not in your element or your circle. So don't engage on that. Be okay with making an exit. If it is not about Ubuntu, then we are not going to engage on that level. And then the third solution is strengthening our voice. So how do we do that? We need to be able to write our own narratives, and tell our own stories. So the media representation, having honest conversations and platforms like this, like the ones you have, and like so many more, are essential. So if we don't control the narrative, someone else will control it for us. And that has been the way it has been for many moons. So it's time to control who holds the purse. And so, as displaced minority communities, we've seen our power stolen time and time again. Now is the time to reclaim it. So let's move as a unit. Let's go together with clarity, strategy, and purpose. By doing so, we can advance as a people and secure our future with our own voices, our culture, and our contributions where they are respected and valued. That's important, is to be respected. So when we are respected, Africa will be respected. So here is what we need to do moving forward. We need to break away from silence and take immediate action to ensure that wherever we go in Africa, we are ready, we are prepared, and we are equipped to do the work. So let's continue this conversation by commenting below and sharing your thoughts, sharing your ideas, letting us know, how do you move forward? How do we move forward? How do we embrace Ubuntu? What is the responsibility? So, I'm just one person with a mindset that is centered on love for my people. And I just happen to have a heart for the underdog. I despise injustices. I do. And I despised us being called minority and marginalized. We accept those titles that are not necessarily who we are as a people. So I want to say that the time is now. We have to move forward with unity. And please, 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 let us do it together. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I'm Loretta Simpson of the Be Wise Africa movement. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more information about what's going on with our repatriation and for more empowering content. So together, you see, we can create the change we want to see. We can't rely on anybody else to do it. We must create the change. We must first be the change, and then we create the change we want to see. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope that I can inspire you and you can inspire me. Peace, love, and happiness, Africa enthusiasts. I'll see you next time.